Hello, I'm Noelle Lim from BFM 89.9. This morning we speak with Rajeev Peshawaria, CEO of Iclif Leadership and Governance Centre, in the final episode of The Leaders Room. In this series of interviews, we've featured outstanding leaders in this region. Your colleagues and yourself have spoken to a number of leaders about what is leadership. What's your take on this?
I believe that leadership is about creating a better future for other people. So a leader is not somebody who's simply a CEO or a prime minister or somebody with a powerful title. A leader is not somebody who just because of their status and position can be called a leader. There's a big misconception. If you look at the dictionary definition of leadership, you get words like direct, control, command. That's not leadership. Somebody becomes a leader when they decide that they want to dedicate their life to creating a better future for other people. When you've decided that you want to leave the world a little bit better than what you found it. Whether you want to create a better future for one person or 10 people or a million people or the whole world, that's fine. But you have to be in the business of creating a better future for others. That's leadership. If we keep looking at leadership from the lens of management control and hierarchy and how to set 5-year strategic plans and this, that, and the other, we're not going to tap into human potential. Because if you look at leadership as creating a better future for others and you declare those intentions, you don't get the response, oh, joy, fantastic, I want to support you wholeheartedly, when can we start? You get the opposite response. That's not a good idea. Don't do it. Let me give you some feedback. And if you persist despite that feedback, you're going to get a whole lot of resistance. Take any leader in history that created a better future, and you find the moment they started visualizing a world with a better future, all they got was resistance, resistance, and resistance. So therefore, leadership is about creating a better future, and leadership is about finding a huge amount of inner energy to actually not give up in the face of that resistance.
And how do they get this leadership energy?
Again, a session of reading 20 Harvard Business case studies over a week is not going to find you that energy. Copying Jack Welch's best practice behavior is not going to make you a leader in the sense of getting that kind of energy. Taking psychometric tests which throw out 4-letter codes describing your personality and discussing that in classrooms with trainers is not going to give you leadership energy. So almost every conventional method of leadership development on which $80 billion a year is spent globally is failing. Because if it was working, we would see many more leaders. To find that inner long-lasting energy, you have to have clarity about two things. Your purpose. What better future do you want to create? And your values. What principles will you live by and you will never compromise no matter what, even if it means failure. Those two things, clarity of purpose and clarity of values, give you that long-lasting energy. Now, a big bonus will energize you for some time. The opportunity to work hard and get promoted will energize you for some time, but those sources of energy are rational sources, they fizzle out. Emotional energy, long-lasting energy is intrinsic, almost spiritual, and that comes from clarity of purpose and clarity of values. A leader is somebody who is willing to take personal risk for a purpose larger than himself.
How do you draw on spirituality to give you that leadership energy?
So I look at leadership energy at two levels. One is baseline leadership energy, which comes from clarity of purpose and clarity of values. And the way to find your purpose and your values, there's no magical formula, there is no classroom exercise or a psychometric test. You have to reflect deeply and honestly on what are the inadequacies of current reality that keep me awake at night? What is it that I feel deeply about that I want to do something about? Therefore, deep reflection, answering the questions about what is my purpose and what are my values, that's how you get that. That is the baseline. But getting clarity of purpose and values is not enough, because if it gets really tough, a lot of people will give up on that purpose. Oh, it's not worth it. We find that great leaders who never give up, no matter how big the resistance, and the greater the challenge of leadership, the greater is the resistance. So let's be clear. Your constant companion, if you think about leadership the way I'm talking about, is resistance. Those great leaders that never give up, besides having clarity of purpose and values, they have another deeper source. And that is, they are able to train their mind to stay focused. In other words, they bring out the power of the human mind to stay focused on that purpose and on those values. You know, we're finding that most better future creators engage in some routine that enables them to still the mind. Whether it's meditation, whether it's deep prayer, whether it's some other secular form of,
even yoga?
Yoga or runner's high exercise, something that stills the five senses so that your mind is clear and focused on the here and now. Particularly meditation. And I'm not here to preach a particular sect here, secular meditation, simply focusing on your breath, for example. Anything, those people who have longer lasting energy in the way we are talking about, we find that they practice some sort of a routine on a daily basis so that it enables them. Now, there is a lot of scientific basis. It's not just because grandmom said so. You know, in the old days, in the 2,500 years ago, Asian philosophies like Buddhism and Hinduism and others said that the world is connected. We are all made of the same molecules, whether it's this chair or this me and you, and we are all connected. If you think of the world as connected and you being a part of it, the way you behave with the world becomes very different from if you believe that you are separate from the world, observing the world, right? Western Newtonian physics completely rejected that notion that everything is connected. But today, advances in quantum physics and neuroscience are saying that actually Eastern philosophies and Eastern metaphysics was right. You look under the microscope, you find, yes, indeed, we are made of the same matter. And there's enough research and experiments now that show that we are indeed connected. Entanglement theory, double slit experiment, the observer effect shows that the matter that which we are all made of, even the physical reality here, is all connected. Neuroscience is now telling us that even human beings are connected in more profound ways than just the internet and Facebook. You know, with the discovery of mirror neurons, for example, it says that your brain and my brain is talking to each other all the time, even without us speaking. So that's so Western science, which rejected these Eastern metaphysical notions, is the same Western science that is now saying that's correct through the advent of neuroscience and quantum physics. Today, there's widespread knowledge and evidence, scientific evidence, to say that the human mind has the ability to influence the human body to perform better and to heal itself. The human mind has the ability to influence other people and other minds. And the human mind has also ability to influence physical reality. Scientific evidence coming out of our deeper understanding of neuroscience and coming out of a deeper understanding of quantum physics. What we are finding is that those leaders that don't give up despite the toughest of resistance are tapping into that inner source of mental energy better than others. And what we're also learning, this is still early days in this study and this science, is that meditators, those who are able to still themselves, are able to do it better. I'll give you one final comment. Think about the Shaolin monks in China. They're able to do amazing feats that seem like superhuman, taking a thick bar of steel, banging it on their head and breaking it into two. With one chop of the hand, breaking a brick. We've been asking people how much of that strength of the Shaolin monks to do those superhuman things is physical strength and how much of it is mental energy, focusing the mind. And we often get people saying it's 90% mental energy. Imagine if we could tap into some of that energy, if we could train our mind to tap into even some of that energy to stay focused on our leadership goals, we would indeed create a much better world and a much better future. That is the approach to leadership that we are taking at the Iclif Leadership and Governance Center, trying to help people to think about a new way of thinking about leadership. It's not about command and control. It's not about your power and position. It's about creating a better future. To do that, to find your energy. And energy comes from, such energy is extraordinary, so you need to look at extraordinary places to find it. You're going to have to look at spirituality, neuroscience, quantum physics, etc. to find that energy.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Rajeev Peshawaria, CEO of Iclif Leadership and Governance Center. This is the Leaders Room on BFM 89.9.